There's been a quiet resurgence of iodine deficiency in developed countries that surprises many people who assume nutritional deficiencies are problems of the past. As salt consumption decreases due to blood pressure concerns, and as plant-based diets increase in popularity, iodine insufficiency is becoming more common again. And since thyroid function affects metabolism, energy, mood, and cognitive function, this matters considerably for healthy aging. Iodine is required for thyroid hormone production. Without adequate iodine, your thyroid cannot produce sufficient T4 and T3, the hormones that regulate essentially every cell in your body. Subclinical hypothyroidism is epidemic in older adults, and while multiple factors contribute, inadequate iodine may be underrecognized as one cause. The reliable dietary sources of iodine are limited. Iodized salt was introduced decades ago to prevent deficiency, and it worked remarkably well. But as people reduce salt intake, that reliable source diminishes. Seafood, particularly seaweed, fish, and shellfish, provides substantial iodine. Dairy products contain iodine, partly from iodine-containing disinfectants used in milking and partly from iodine in cattle feed. Eggs provide some. But plant foods grown in soil have highly variable iodine content depending on soil iodine levels, which are depleted in many regions. For people consuming seafood several times weekly and dairy products regularly, iodine deficiency is unlikely. But for those avoiding both seafood and dairy, particularly vegans, iodine deficiency risk increases substantially. Plant-based eaters often rely on iodized salt or supplements, but many health-conscious individuals use sea salt or Himalayan salt instead, which contain negligible iodine despite their natural origins. Seaweed seems like an obvious solution for plant-based iodine, but there's a serious warning here. Seaweed iodine content is wildly variable, ranging from virtually none in some types to excessive amounts in others, particularly kelp. Some kelp products contain milligrams of iodine per serving, far exceeding safe upper limits. Excessive iodine can actually cause thyroid dysfunction, including both hyperthyroidism and, paradoxically, hypothyroidism through different mechanisms. Using seaweed as your primary iodine source without knowing specific iodine content is genuinely risky. The thyroid-nutrient interactions matter here. Adequate iodine works synergistically with selenium, zinc, and iron for optimal thyroid function. Deficiency of any of these can impair thyroid hormone production or conversion even with adequate iodine. This is why whole dietary patterns matter more than isolated nutrient focus. Seafood provides not just iodine but also selenium. Meat provides zinc and iron. These nutrients work together. For supplementation, 150 micrograms daily is the recommended intake for most adults, with higher needs during pregnancy. This is easily achievable with iodine supplements or multivitamins containing iodine. The key is consistency. Thyroid function requires steady iodine availability, not sporadic intake. Daily iodized salt use or daily supplementation provides this consistency better than occasional seaweed consumption. The cognitive and metabolic implications of inadequate thyroid function are substantial. Hypothyroidism, even subclinical, contributes to weight gain, fatigue, cold intolerance, depression, cognitive sluggishness, and potentially cardiovascular risk. Many of these symptoms are dismissed as normal aging, but they might reflect correctable thyroid dysfunction partly driven by inadequate iodine. Testing thyroid function should be part of routine health monitoring for older adults. Standard panels typically measure TSH, and sometimes T4 and T3. If results suggest hypothyroidism, checking iodine status makes sense before assuming it's primary thyroid disease requiring medication. Sometimes the solution is as simple as adequate iodine intake. What concerns me is the convergence of trends: reduced salt intake, increased plant-based eating, preference for non-iodized specialty salts that collectively increase deficiency risk. Meanwhile, Thyroid dysfunction becomes increasingly common with age anyway. This creates a situation where easily preventable iodine deficiency contributes to declining thyroid function that significantly impacts quality of life. The solution is accessible: either regular seafood and dairy consumption, consistent use of iodized salt, or appropriate supplementation. But it requires awareness that this isn't just a historical problem, it's a current and growing concern.